Welcome back, Minties. Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to give you guys a tour of my collected editions, graphic novels, omnibuses, absolutes, everything that has been updated since, I think I did this about a year and a half ago. You guys have been asking me to do an updated tour, so here it is. So, stay tuned! So kicking it off, there are some books up at the very top of these shelves that are too big for these billies. So that's where letter 44 is, and there's going to be 3 volumes of those altogether. Over here is the EC collection. I mainly get the horror stuff. This is some of the best comic books ever written. I'm serious. If you've never read any of these, it's worth checking them out. Dark Horse now owns the rights to them. I did keep one of the original Jim publishing boxes. Harrow County from Dark Horse, DMZ. And we have some Kickstarter stuff here from Max Smith, Scurry, the Crimson box, or the slipcase. And moving down here are the creepy and eerie archives, which I've been collecting since I did the Barnes & Noble and Amazon Glitch back in 2010, where I got them for like $7 to $8 each. And now there's 26, 27 volumes of each one, so it's kind of hard to buy them, even at half off for 25 bucks when you find them, you know, for $7 to $8. But it's some good horror and sci-fi stuff, very much mimicking the EC stuff, but it was all black and white. Here we go. This is some IDW, excuse me, Scrooge. This is IDW's Ninja Turtles, and of course I choose the one cover that doesn't have a Ninja Turtle. And some of probably my best incarnation that I've ever read of a Ninja Turtle story. Gem and the Holograms. That's from my daughter. No, I'm just kidding. That's mine. I love that book. That was really good. Kelly Thompson. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1 and 2. These are the ones that are out of print and go for ridiculous prices. And you might have seen my interview with Kyle Higgins when I asked him about this. And he was like, he doesn't think there's going to be a reprint of this book. So that sucks. But he also said he's Kyle Higgins. He's not Boom Studios. So what does he know? Speaking of Boom Studios, here are some books that I got irredeemable. These, book 4, I believe, is the one that's hard to find. And I had a friend of the show send it to me, and he does not want to be named, so that's cool. We got Blueberry from my friend Simon, because it's one of his favorite comics. It's huge in Europe. Here in America, only 3 have been released in English. Moving on to more of the IDW stuff, the Transformers, some of the best comic books ever written. I'm a bigger fan of Phase 4. I know Dan can agree with me, but these are just, I love these books. I've done an overview of them. You can check them out on the channel. I like the way that they're written, and I love the artwork. They each come with a ribbon. I love books that come with ribbons, and IDW is notorious for doing that. My buddy Kyle sent me this awesome gift. It's a Redline limited edition All Hail Megatron. And moving down here, we have some Image books and some Dark Horse stuff. This is The Walking Dead, whatever. And this is mine, MGMT. These are very light for hardcovers and omnibuses. I think, yeah. So then we have Street Fighter. I'm a big sucker for artwork and also books that love to fall. So that's why I own the Street Fighter books, because I love the art in Street Fighter. The story, whatever, it doesn't matter, but the artwork is gorgeous. And some of you guys wanted me to do like a complete overview of these books or comprehensive reading order, and I don't mind doing that at all. But honestly, they're not that great. Then we have Spawn. Now, Todd McFarlane late last year said we're gonna get some kind of collections back in Spawn. These are the hardcover collections, the deluxe editions. They took the Origins trade paperbacks and put 2 in 1, and this is the hardcovers. Again, I'm a big fan of art, so that's why I have these. I love the people that drew Spawn: Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo, Angel Medina, Tony Daniel got in there too. And then down here we have the Ultimate Universe. I know I give these books a lot of crap, starting off with Mark Millar's Ultimate, then Bendis and Miller Ultimate Fantastic Four, eventually written by Warren Ellis, and then Ultimates Galactus, which was okay. The Omnis aren't here, they're in another part of the room, but you know, actually Ultimate Spider-Man wasn't that bad. I'm one of the guys that doesn't like Bendis that much, but his retelling of Spider-Man was good. It was fun for the time. A little dated now, which is weird because this came out in the early aughts. Actually, 2000, I think, is when the first book came out. Ultimate X-Men. Oh, God. Ultimatum. Probably one of the worst books I own, but as a completist, I had to get the Compendium, or the Companion, Cataclysm, and then, yeah, all that stuff. So let's move on up here. And we have more IDW stuff. This is the original Ninja Turtles by Eastman and Laird. These are black and white, and that's the way they originally came out, and that's why I like to own them in that way. Then the IDW G.I. Joe, which they discontinued this line, because IDW is notorious for discontinuing, and I'll go on a bitch fest here in a second when I talk about one particular series. I love this book right here. I don't see enough love for this. This is Kurt Busiek and David Wenzel's book. Look at this gorgeous artwork, and written by, of course, Kurt Busiek. Just beautiful fantasy art books. And yeah, I don't see enough love for this book. I don't see it in a lot of people's tours. This is The Wizard's Tale, and I think this one's printed by IDW. There's a softcover edition too. So here's the classics line. This is the G.I. Joe classics. So they started hardcovers of these, and I was so happy. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get them. And then they canceled that line. But that's still not the line that pissed me off that they canceled. Then we have these IDW, what they call omnibuses. This is Beast Wars. And yeah, artwork is gorgeous. A lot of the stuff from the Dreamwave years were collected in this format. And then we have, okay, so this is the line I was talking about that made me mad that they canceled. This is Transformers Classics. For a long time, they were talking about making these into hardcovers, but this is all of them here collected. And this is, by the way that you want them. You don't want the other IDW set. This is the ones that have the complete issues in here. The original releases of the trade paperbacks don't have like the Spider-Man story. And I can't remember, there's a character that Marvel created that they literally had to black out in each issue because the character belonged to Marvel. I think it was Livewire. But the line that they discontinued, because this is the complete US Transformers, but if people know that Transformers continued in the UK, Simon Furman went on to write other stories, and they canceled book 6. I think we only needed 3 more of the Transformers Classics UK in order to finish them, but they canceled it. I had book 6 in my damn pre-order cart at Amazon for 2 years, and they released like some little tweet about, hey, we're discontinuing this series. Sorry you waited so long. We only need 3 more, and that would have finished that out. This is Pat Lee's Transformers. These, I think there was a 3rd volume. No, I'm sorry. This is the More Than Meets the Eye stuff. The Dreamway stuff is right here. There was a 3rd volume announced, and I never picked it up. But even though it's Pat Lee, and even though I'm not a big fan of his artwork, we all know this horrible story about how he really didn't draw most of it. That he didn't give credit to the actual artist, nor did he pay them. And that's why Dreamwave went under. Here's G.I. Joe versus the Transformers. Sent to me again by my buddy Kyle. Book was never reprinted for some reason, so this is a DDP book, one of the few DDP books I still have. This is a chessboard, man. I know it's not a manga tour, but this is a sketch by Don Rosa, and this is a sketch by Tad Stones, the creator of Darkwing Duck, for my daughter Lydia, and that one's for me. Here's some independent books down here. This is a little smaller scale. One of the most important books of all time, of course. I think I pointed this out the last time I got we did a tour. But now, I've added some of my favorites here, like God Country and Pride of Baghdad. Pride of Baghdad having this gorgeous artwork. I may need to upgrade this and get the deluxe edition because this artwork needs to be in oversized format. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Brian K. Vaughan. And I was hoping they would re-release some kind of giant edition of the hardcover of this, Joe Kelly's I Kill Giants, when the movie came out. But no such luck. Stray Bullets, that really needs a hardcover. And let's see, yes, the Dark Empire trilogy. My buddy Kyle also sent me that. I love that book, and this is one of the series that I had to own in hardcover because I lost mine many years ago. So it's nice just to have it back. Let's see, down here, First Kingdom, another series that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Just the artwork is what drew me to this series originally. I mean, just look at that detailed art just in one page. That's why it took this guy over, I think, 15, 17 years to finish the story. The story's kind of confusing, a little convoluted, and hard to follow at times, but come on, I mean, just look at that gorgeous detailed artwork that goes into each panel. These aren't covers. Oh, it's got boobies. Awesome. Morning Glories. Now, I did interview Nick Spencer, and he said they are going to continue the hardcovers as soon as they write more stories. Awesome. There's the complete Queen and Country, Rust. Love and Rockets, which is a series I'm really trying to get into because I'm a fan of Strangers in Paradise, and my buddy James is a huge fan of that series. This is Love and Rockets, and apparently Strangers in Paradise drew heavily from it, and I got to the second book, and I don't know. I'm gonna keep going though, give it a try. There's Habibi and other books I picked up. Now let's move on up here. Oh yeah, over there's Private Eye. I forgot to mention that. It's just such a weird shape. There's all the Six Gun books from Oni Press, waiting on the sixth one. Mike Mignola's Hellboy. Stay away from the 2019 movie. But here's the library editions, the Goon library editions, which now Eric Powell has the rights back to this, and he's doing his own little omnis. I don't know why the Fifth Beetle's up there, or that, but whatever. Here's the complete Chew, Lock and Key. I may end up getting the Master's edition of that, Lock and Key, and the BPRD hardcovers, which I hope they continue, because I hope one day we get a complete Lobster Johnson. That would be so badass. But yeah, these are, unfortunately, some of these are out of print because Dark Horse, I don't know. There's just, they started making soft covers and they never went back to reprint some of these hardcovers. So yeah, some of the books that you'll see here are out of print. Here's the Complete Invincible, Complete 100 Bullets. Here's some of my Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka stuff from Image. Strangers in Paradise, Omnibus. Now this is the soft covers, not the hard covers. I had a fan of send me this. That was really sweet. Echo. I'll give shout outs at the end of the episode because there's a lot of people that have helped me find books or just sent me books. So all that's Terry Moore Saga, which is getting a compendium, a huge 54 issue compendium. It's going to be hardcover. So I'm excited about that. East of West, which is now over. So I hope we get more of these collections. Manhattan Projects, Claws, which we've reviewed on Old Reader, New Reader. Some of these books you'll see from Old Reader, New Reader, like Day Tripper. Let's see, moving down here. Got the Wicked and Divine, the three volumes. I think there's going to be one more volume of that. Mice Templar, which Image discontinued, which I found out while we looked through here, and I'll point out some things, that it's up to the creators to keep releasing the books, like in hardcover or big, thick hardcover formats, because I really thought it was up to Image themselves, but apparently it's up to the creator. Here's a book I really, really enjoyed. Mainly because of the artwork by Pete Craig Russell, but I also ended up enjoying the story. It's another fantasy book. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Buddy Thomas sent me those two books. Friend of the show, Elephant Men, and then my buddy Jess gave me this, Lady Mechanica. I need to get volume 2. Jason Aaron's book. My daughter's made these for me for my birthday. How can I not talk about that? It's adorable. It's Bob and Bob from Bubble Bobble. Here's some compendiums. This is what the compendiums I'm used to seeing, are these just really cruddy, soft cover compendiums. Like this holds 50 issues, but apparently the Saga one's going to be oversized and hardcover, so that's awesome. There is Peter David's Fallen Angel series right next to this book. And the one series, this trade paperback finishes out the series, and it was never collected in that format. This is an independent guy. I really liked his stuff, and I'm really surprised that IDW ended up reprinting his stuff. He drew heavily from McFarlane, but who didn't back then? Who didn't want to be McFarlane or Jim Lee back then? But this is Creed. So I was surprised to see it, because I think I remember finding it at a comic book shop randomly, like an issue, and I really dug it. Two Brothers, Rough. Here's some more books. I really enjoyed Wrinkles, but the guy that did this Paco Roca. He did another book. I can't. Maybe it's in. I'll show you guys later on in the tour. Called Lighthouse, and I enjoyed that a little bit more. Now moving here, these are oversized, as you can tell. These are huge. This is the library edition of Fear Agent. These are out of print, and now that Dark Horse lost the rights to Fear Agent, it's up to Image to reprint them in the way that they want them to. To me, this is my favorite Rick Remender book. I think it's his magnum opus, but obviously he likes this format because that's the way he has them printed at Image and at Dark Horse. So this is all Rick Remender, and some other books here. Milk and Cheese. I love that series. And oh yeah, I think this book is way out of print. And Joe Madureira has promised that he's going to come back and finish out the story when he's done with the video games. But yeah, I believe it when I see it, Joe. And we'll move on up top. Up there is the Parker Martini edition by Darwin Cook. I wish that we had more of those. And then Sky Doll, because those books are huge. Over here we have all of, this starts off the Bendis hardcovers. Yes, that's right. I don't like Bendis, but like I said, I'm a huge fan of art. So he's always teamed up with somebody really good or somebody that I enjoy. This is David Finch, New Avengers. Kicked off with Avengers Disassembled. Steve McNiven did the second arc, but yeah, that's why I get these. But this is the entire Bendis Avengers stuff until we get to this, and then they stop making them in oversized hardcover, and we get to the standard hardcovers. I'll show you guys. Avengers, X-Men, and so these are the books I pulled down. Moving down here, every time I do a comprehensive reading order and things like that. So we have Punisher by Max. I did not upgrade to the Omnibus. So see, I don't upgrade everything, or I don't own every Omnibus. I just get the ones that I really enjoy. But I did get the Omnibus of this, so I'll probably be dropping those and selling them. I'll show you guys my sell pile here in a little bit, or what I got. This is coming out in an Omnibus later on, the Best of Spider-Man. A lot of JMS's stuff's coming out in an Omnibus later on this year, and I'm assuming it's going to have 2 Omnis, but I seriously doubt it's going to collect all of the other. I don't think it'll have all of that. Definitely won't have all of Civil War and Back in Black. So the only thing that from JMS that was not printed in oversized format is the Amazing Spider-Man book here, One More Day. So I'm sure that will be printed in the second Omnibus. But let's before we go over there, let's go on over on this side where there's the other Marvel stuff. Kaiju Max, which is awesome, not Marvel, but I needed a place to put it. There's Daredevil by Bendis. Again, did not upgrade those. Daredevil by Mark Waid. Also did not upgrade them. Oh wait, I did get the Fantastic Four. So those need to go too. House of M, which I'm going to do like my speculation of omnibuses that Marvel needs to do, and that's definitely one right there. Incredible Hulk. I'm surprised that's all the Greg Pak stuff we ended up getting up here next to the Paul Jenkins run. There's MYX. I was hoping we'd get more of that. And then here's the follow-up to the rest of the Spider-Man stuff in oversized hardcover. And Thor by Jason Aaron, which he's saying he's hoping that he gets an omnibus when I got to interview him, the 12, which I haven't read that yet. I need to finish reading that. Vision, which is amazing. If you've not read this, this is Tom King's Vision. It was just a really surprising good story. I really enjoyed it, and I'll talk about Mr. Miracle here in a little bit. But Vision starts a family in this little suburban neighborhood. I don't know. I found it really interesting when people try to humanize the characters, but also keep all of their history. Find that really interesting. You have to be a really good writer to do that. Agents of Atlas. I don't see enough of love for that run. This is Jeff Parker's run. Sorry, Venom. I just busted your head. Good thing you're just made out of plastic. Yeah, not a lot of love for Jeff Parker's Agents of Atlas. And then we have some Spider-Man in epic format. As you can see, this is the epic stuff here, and I keep it in with my trade paperbacks and also my Marvel Premiere hardcovers until they're printed. Like, I've got the Clone Saga Ben Reilly Omnibus Volume 1, but I'm waiting for Volume 2 to be announced before I drop all of that. Sorry, Spidey. Here's the rest of the Spider-Man Brand New Day all the way across, and that finishes out big time. And then it begins with the Superior Spider-Man story up there. But and here's the Avengers next to Magneto. All of my Avengers, like I said, mixed in. I know I'm going to do a comprehensive reading order of Avengers. I think I left the poll up Well, the poll will be up on the Patreon side, and then they can decide which comprehensive reading order I do next, but I think it's going to be Avengers. Here's the rest of the Bendis stuff that I was talking about. It just came out in standard hardcover, did not come in oversized hardcover. Oh god, I can't believe I'm missing this. This is such a great series. This is Avengers The Initiative, written by Christos Gage and Dan Slott at first, and then Dan Slott ended up leaving and left it to Christos Gage. I love this run. I don't know, it reminded me a lot of New Warriors. Actually, some New Warriors do show up in here, and New Mutants from back in the day. But I can't believe I'm missing Academy Volume 1. So yeah, this series turned into Avengers Academy, and then Avengers Arena and Avengers Undercover. There's Cable, Captain America, all the epics. I think I own every epic of Captain America except for one that double dipped into the Omnibus. And here's the rest of Captain America, Daredevil, Exiles, Fantastic Four. For the most part, most of the stuff is in alphabetical order. And moving down here, where we have Fear Itself, a crossover event that was not written by Bendis or Mark Miller, so it never got a oversized hardcover or an omnibus format, because that's the way Marvel was. If it wasn't written by those two guys, they really didn't care. And we were lucky to get Planet Hulk and World War Hulk in oversized hardcover, and then eventually an omnibus, which sucks because we still don't have a Peter David omnibus, which I did a comprehensive reading order of Hulk. Here's all the Hulk, and then this is all the other Hulk stuff, like Incredible Hercules, and then Son of Hulk. Here's the Infinity stuff, the Infinity Watch, Infinity War, which I need to replace that because I got the omnibus recently, and Iron Man. Here's one of the few Grant Morrison books. Yeah, Grant Morrison books that doesn't get that much attention. This is Marvel Boy by Grant Morrison and J.G. Jones, who is a phenomenal artist. And yeah, this was a good run. Eventually, I think Bendis ended up using him in his Dark Avengers run, I want to say. Long shot by Ann Nocenti. And Mutant X, a second volume of that has just been solicited. And yes, no matter what, I will end up getting New Warriors in any format I can get them in. So this follows up right after New Warriors Volume 1, the Omnibus. So when an Omnibus hopefully one day gets announced, I will end up replacing this, because New Warriors is just one of those series that I love. Next wave, Agents of Fate. Yeah, we did that in Old Reader, New Reader. Here's some more Punisher books, and She-Hulk, Thor, like I said, mixed in with a bunch of the trade paperbacks or epics. So when an epic gets announced, or I'm sorry, when an epic comes out and I have it in my hand, because I don't like cancellations, I end up selling the trade paperbacks that it replaces. That's the idea, right? To have all of that look the same. So here's one. This is another one of the series that I'm surprised Marvel has not done an omnibus of, and that is Thunderbolts by Kurt Busiek and eventually Fabian Nicieza. Here's some Wolverine epics. Not the greatest story, but I'm a big fan of Steve Dillon, even though his art never really fit in with this Wolverine character. Oh yeah, and I forgot about this in here too. This Bianchi's artwork's in here. So that's why I own those. And then X Factor, Excalibur, which I have these in custom bound, so that's why I don't get a lot. Road to Onslaught, and moving down here to the rest of the X-Men stuff, which I'll probably do a comprehensive reading order if trade paperbacks are mixed in with actual oversized hardcovers. Here's all the titles. I hate the fact that they started coming out these really, really thin trade paperbacks. I mean, there's like 4 issues in there. They should have thicker ones. And then the New Mutants, which I recently did a comprehensive reading order of, and the remaining of the New Mutants series, which eventually evolved into New X-Men, which was a phenomenal series. Here's all of Peter David's X Factor. Where's My Damn Omnibus? All New X Factor, which was a follow-up. This is getting an oversized hardcover, so that's awesome. I love X-Men in oversized hardcover. X-Men Legacy. Yeah, so Adjectiveless X-Men eventually became X-Men Legacy, and then towards the end it went back to X-Men. So this is the last few issues of that run. Then they started another series. So, actually, back to school. What the hell's wrong with me? Goes right here. Sorry about that. Moving on to DC. So up at the top we have Wednesday Comics, oversized. Love that stuff. And here's the absolute stuff. I kept the boys up here, even though it's Dynamite, but it's, I mean, they're absolute formats. And this is the way that I like to own a lot of the stories if I like the artwork or if the story means something to me, like Sandman. Even though I really didn't enjoy a lot of the earlier stuff, and I'll show you guys why. A lot of the earlier work, I still think that Sandman is very important to me. So that's why I have it in absolute format. Now these are of course recolored. These are the brand new colors, not the original Sandman colors. But, you know, the art, to me at least, didn't need to be an oversized format. But since the story is so important and so wonderful, that's why I decided to get them in absolute format. So up there we have more absolutes. I don't have all of them, and I just get the ones that I wanted. The ones, of course, that I missed out on because I thought we were going to get an omnibus of was Absolute Promethea by Alan Moore. There is Absolute Top 10. My buddy Kyle sent me that. Transmetropolitan, Watchmen, Steve Dillon. No, I'm sorry, not Steve. Dave Gibbons. How dare I? Wildcats. Horrible story, but, I mean, it's oversized Jim Lee artwork. Alex Ross, to me, needs to be in this format. That's why I own that. Justice and Kingdom Come in that way. Ex Machina, I passed up on the Omnibus because these are fine. These are good enough for me. Death, which I need to get rid of because I have Absolute Death now. And some more oversized hardcovers. Not the biggest Jeff Lemire art fan, but I love his stories. Like, I don't know, I think he's an acquired taste. His artwork is just too sketchy, and at times I really don't think he understands how a human body is supposed to move. And I know there are some people that don't like his artwork too. It's not just me, but I love his stories, with the exception of his X-Men run. But that's not necessarily his fault. Now, in my top 10 most important comic books of all time, Starman. Why we don't have two omnis of these, I don't know. But this is just some of the best comic books, some of the best reading I've ever had in my life. So yeah, Starman. This series is so important to me. The story is so awesome. It's in my top 10 favorite things I've ever read in my life. And hopefully one day DC will decide to actually release these, because I know Volume 3 is out of print. I know they stopped printing the trade paperbacks, but hopefully DC will release these in a proper omnibus format, and I will upgrade. Here's Stormwatch and the Authority. I decided to pass up on the absolute, or I'm sorry, the what's it called? The omnibus, I think it's that they're coming out with, because they still didn't collect that JLA Aliens issue that kill off half of the Stormwatch team. Why the Last Man's coming out in omnibus format, still maybe on the fence about it. Swamp Thing, that's Alan Moore, absolute format. Canceled, re-solicited, canceled, re-solicited, canceled one more time, and re-solicited one more time, so we're hoping this time it comes out, because I'll probably upgrade those. Scout by Jason Aaron. Wasn't in love with it as much as some people were. I do like the artwork. I love the artwork. I think it's gorgeous. But I know people think that this is one of his better works. I don't know. It had its moments. I didn't really care for the main character, the protagonist, but maybe that's the point. You're not supposed to, but yeah, it was good, but not as great as some people thought. I thought 100 Bullets was better, but that's just my opinion. So again, I think this is out of order. They canceled the trade paperbacks of that too. There's the Promethea, How I Own It, the poor man's edition, not the absolute edition like it should be owned, because J.H. Williams' artwork is gorgeous. And we're going to start the DC trade paperbacks. The Omnis are on the other side, and I'll get to those in a little bit. Here's all the Aquaman and in alphabetical order. Batgirl, a series that is very underrated. This is Stephanie Brown as Batgirl. I don't know, this series didn't get a lot of... Stephanie Brown didn't get a lot of love. There was a justice for Stephanie Brown for a while when she died. For a minute, when she was, Robin. I forgot about this series. Okay, so then DC started doing this. This is my Batgirl. I love Cassandra Cain. And I got so excited when DC started putting these out. These are the fat trade paperbacks collecting her earlier stuff. Because I had the older trades and I got rid of them. And I'm like, cool, DC's doing the right thing. We're going to get all of them. Nope. They stopped at volume 3. No further solicitations. Same thing with Aquaman. Well, we know Aquaman volume 3 got canceled. So that sucks. Now we're waiting. God, I feel like I'm just going to go through this DC list and just talk bitch about all the books that got canceled. Like Dark Knight Detective. Damn it. Anyway, and here we have more Batman. Batman in the way that I like to keep it in chronological order, and I will do a comprehensive reading order of that, including the Omnis and oversized hardcovers. Birds of Prey. Another series I'm surprised DC has not cashed in on and made an omnibus of. Now, I love Chuck Dixon's, but this is the best run right here. This is, of course, Gail Simone and Ed Bennis's Birds of Prey. Long out of print. They need, I mean, look how shitty this trade paperback is. Like, the pages aren't glossy paper. So I hope that we get a proper collection sometime soon. Let's see. There's a Blackest Night Omnibus coming out, so I'll be picking that up to replace those. Here's another thing to bitch to DC about. Catwoman. I think I did this the last time. Look at those spines. What the hell? There's like 3 different versions of each one of these, and it's the same book. That's why I do custom buying on books sometimes. Checkmate and Final Crisis. Flash by Mark Waid. We are finally getting those. I'm surprised we didn't get an omnibus of that. And of course, this is all a Flash in chronological order. Then we get into Green Arrow. However, they canceled Impulse, the trade paperback, on me, and the damn omnibus. There's Green Arrow. Now they stopped after Grell. We don't have any of Chuck Dixon's stuff, and they jump all the way over to Kevin Smith. And that's what we're going to be doing for Old Reader, New Reader soon. And here, well, I guess depending on when you watch this, maybe we already did it. There's Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, Volume 3, canceled. But good thing I didn't get rid of all my other ones. Green Lantern Corps, they started off in hardcover, and then they went to softcover. Come on, DC, make up your damn mind. Sure. Another series that they stopped. And I don't blame them. I mean, that one had a controversy behind it because of the other writer that took over the book. But they could have given us another omnibus. Whatever. Here's a series that I'm surprised we don't have an Omni or a proper collection of. We've had oversized hardcovers and we've had fat trade paperbacks, but I'm waiting for the omnibus before I get rid. These are my original trade paperbacks of the Complete Justice League, and I think it's only missing 2 issues in these trades, and the Joe Kelly issues. 2 of the most important issues too. Justice League Generation Lost. Love that series. I upgraded to the new League, the hardcover, the Jubilee edition, so I'll be getting rid of that. Legion of Superheroes, Mark Waid's run was so phenomenal. Doesn't get a lot of love, or people don't talk about it often, but he is the reason why I got into Legion of Superheroes. This is, Barry Kitson and Mark Waid. I love this run. I had no interest in, no offense, Jess, I know you love the Death of Pharaoh Lad, but I had no interest in the Legion of Superheroes before this. And then I went back and got some of the Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning stuff from years before. Man, that's a tight fit. Manhunter, another underrated series that never got finished. Unfortunately, there was supposed to be a volume 6, got solicited, got canceled. God bless, that was probably 8-9 years ago. Yeah, so DC has been at the canceling game for a long time. There's Nightwing, which I've done comprehensive reading orders of. Robin. They made it all the way to volume 5 before canceling on us. So here's the rest of Robin. Secret 6, another series. They finally did this proper and started releasing them in fat trades. But I haven't upgraded to those because I'm hoping that they'll do a oversized hardcover or an omnibus. Got one more volume of Suicide Squad, and that finishes out that awesome run. Supergirl, I fear, has also been canceled along with Aquaman. Peter David just gets no love, I swear. Now, here's the huge Superman run. You notice all my Man of Steel is gone from the last time I did this video. That's because I had them... No, actually, I did have those custom bound when I did the video last time, so never mind. Yeah, all that stuff, all those early trades from John Byrne. Because see, my DC starts after Crisis on Infinite Earths. So that's why I'm missing a lot of the Golden and Silver Age, because that's just not for me. Here's all the Superman stuff, Wonder Woman. And then that kicks off, I think, yeah, Wonder Woman 0 Hour finishes there. And then that kicks off the DC Rebirth hardcovers, which are wonderful. Yes, one of those stands out. Whatever. So I need to make more room for those. And here is the new 52 stuff. So we have Batman. These are in hardcover. Batman and Justice League. Alphabetical order after that. Then we get into the Green Lantern stuff. Now, I started at Green Lantern Volume 4 because Volumes 1, 2, and 3 were written by Jeff Johnson. They're collected in the Omnibus. I'm not that OCD that I'm okay with starting with the Volume 4. Here's the Teen Titans books that got restarted, I think, twice. And Teen Titans Rebirth. Oh, here's the Rebirth trade paperbacks right here. Like Justice League Dark. And so this is the new spine. This is the original spine for Rebirth because they can't keep calling it Rebirth. And here's all of Fables in oversized hardcover. Never did get an omnibus announced of that. And Jack of Fables, there's a volume 2, but I think we need one more volume to finish that out, so I'm holding out and buying that and keeping my trades until they announce it, because DC. Here is Preacher, and just, I love this series, and I'm surprised I don't own the Absolutes. What the hell? So I guess I need to get on that. I love that. We need to do this on Old Reader, New Reader. This is The Pro by Garth Ennis and Amanda Conner. This is the book that introduced me to Amanda Conner. Oh man, it's so raunchy. It's great. And a book that had been solicited for many years to be an omnibus. This is a crossover classics of DC versus Marvel. There were supposed to be 2 omnis released of this. Oh my god, I want to say it was 10 years ago. With the old classic stuff like this, and then the new stuff from the mid-90s, the crossover. But those got canceled. I guess copyright got involved. Yeah, it even has the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans and X-Men crossover with the Dark Phoenix and Darkseid. Art by Walter Simonson. That's such a badass story. All right, let's move on to the omnibuses. So we're gonna kick off the omnibuses, omnibuses, with the Marvel omnis. So here we have the X-Men. I love having my X-Men all in one row. So in chronological order from the original all the way to classic X-Men, and of course X-Men Classic, because that added stories to these two. Director's cuts, the way that I describe it. And some of these are out of print, unfortunately, so I'm hoping things like Inferno get reprinted as an omnibus, kind of like what they did with the Mutant Massacre. And we got them all the way, even to the stuff like I talk about with Onslaught, right? Onslaught's probably the story that got me out of comics, but brought me back later on with Grant Morrison's X-Men, which is on the other side. We'll go look at that in a minute. Revolution being the last one. Some of these are custom bounds that I found on eBay, and I really can't show them off here on YouTube, so I'll have to figure out a way to show you guys that stuff some other way. I don't know how. Then we have Annihilation. Like I said, some of these things are out of print. I'm hoping with things like Annihilation they get back into print. This is the Cosmic Saga. That's why you see War of the Realms up here. But most of the stuff is in alphabetical order. Acts of Vengeance crossover. This is really cool. This is both the Acts of Vengeance. I need to show this off. The covers connect. I'm an idiot. The covers connect like that. So that's the first time I've seen that on an omnibus happen. So the crossovers, the Acts of Vengeance that usually took place. Actually, that took place during the Avengers run. Alpha Flight, the Spider-Man stuff, and you know, someone's asked me before in the comments if I get all the omnis, and no, I don't. For example, I didn't get Tangled Web of Spider-Man, and I'm going to sell my Spider-Man versus Venom because I know they'll eventually do a Spider-Man Michelini and Bagley omnibus, so no need to keep that just for the Maximum Carnage storyline. Ben Reilly, Volume 2 hasn't even been solicited yet as of this episode. Then we have Avengers. Volume 4 makes me very happy because we also have an Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4 coming out. So hoping for more of that. The Crossing, don't give me shit. I love it. Don't care if anybody else does. But the correct answer is the greatest Avengers run right here. Kurt Busiek and George Perez. Eventually, other artists took over the run. Then we have Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, and then followed by West Coast Avengers. Even though that says Avengers, most of this is West Coast. That followed after that omnibus. Then we have Captain America. Now I sold like my Golden Age cap and my Silver Age cap, and also like my Silver Age, Thor 1 and 2, and Hulk, because I started getting the epics, which you saw back there. So this is Ed Brubaker's, and starting off with Mark Waid's run, and then Ed Brubaker's complete run. Captain Marvel. I've told this story before where I got this is through the Barnes & Noble glitch in 2010, so that was $11. This is one of my favorite Omnis that I own. Also, well, I don't know what the odds are of them reprinting that. Captain Britain wasn't a popular character. There we have the original. This is all the Daredevil Omnis that I own. See, no Bendis, because I decided to keep my hardcovers. So I don't get all the Omnis. One of my weaknesses is art, though, right? So that's why I own Daniel Way Collection 1. I don't have 2 yet because I'm waiting for a sale. I also got this for like $35. The greatest Deadpool story, though, is found in this omnibus right here. This is the earlier stuff. But yeah, Volume 2, because I'm a big fan of Paco Medina. The slimmest omnibus I own, Devil Dinosaur. Then we have the Earth X trilogy in 2 omnis. Here's Fantastic Four. Now this is the second printing of this book, and I haven't talked about this, but I've talked about it on my videos. I usually get the variant cover, not the original cover, the comic book art cover, because that's usually found inside, unless I'm not digging it, which we'll get to here in a minute, like with New Warriors and Conan. And Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. These are other whales too. There's Jason Aaron's Ghost Rider. That's great artwork. The story itself was okay. Then moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy by Jim Valentino. Guardians of the Galaxy 3000 was over on the other shelf. And remember the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis. I'm a sucker for art, what can I say? Then we have this really small omnibus. Hawkeye, which we recently did on Old Reader, New Reader. Howard the Duck. And the reason this is in here, the Thanos Infinity Origins, because it's part of the Infinity sets. I figured I'd put that there before Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, and eventually, hopefully, Infinity Crusade. There's Iron Man. This is the David Michelini run. Like I said, I sold my Silver Age one to get the epics. Now, they just recently solicited the follow-up to this, the Joe Quesada run. Loki, John Carter. I think I've read like 2 issues from here. I don't even know why I'm keeping that. Man-Thing. Don't really hear a lot of people talk about that. One of the most underrated books, though, right here, New Warriors. I said that I usually get the variant cover. But with this, I really didn't like that Scotty Young cover because it reminded me too much of the Zeb Wells run, and that's not my New Warriors. And yeah, this is my teenage years. I freaking love New Warriors. Art by Mark Bagley, written by Fabian Nicieza. There's the Punisher stuff by Garth Ennis. There's the Remender Punisher, and then the Punisher Max. I didn't get the other Garth Ennis Omnis because I already own them in hardcover. So maybe if I find them on a sale. Runaways, which I told you guys I would double dip in. Secret Warriors by Jonathan Hickman. I'm surprised. Maybe with Hickman coming back to Marvel, they're going to start reprinting some of their books. Some of his books. So over here is like the stack of books that I keep for my monthly hauls. This is where it comes from. So I keep them like in a stack until I'm ready to show off the haul at the end of the month. And over here, people have asked me, like, how do you keep all this crap? Like, how do you... Well, I do sell some stuff. So here's some stuff I'm selling or trading or giving away. And then some stuff that I haven't just put up. But yeah, so I don't keep everything. And continuing my chronological lineup of X-Men and other X titles. Here we go, all the way up to Brian Michael Bendis run. And I want to say, like, this is the last hardcover that had, like, an X-Men event. An oversized hardcover, because Uncanny X-Men, the new one, was supposed to be oversized hardcover, but they decided to make it a trade paperback instead and charge you $40 for it. Here's Jason Aaron's Wolverine. The first one released was this right here, the Wolverine and the X-Men. And then the second one was Volume 1, and then goes to hell. So that's confusing as shit. Why would they do that? But, you know, whatever. Marvel logic. Ecstatics, which I heard is coming back. I don't know if it's just a one-shot, but X-Force, followed by X-Force Volume 2, no matter what that says. And the X-Force Volume 3 will be Cable and X-Force. So I know people want to do a comprehensive reading order of X-Force. I'll probably work on that, put that up on the poll. Here we have the original Secret Wars, again bought through the Amazon glitch for $8 in 2010. That glitch unfortunately never happened again. Well, no, it did happen one more time, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Mike Allred. This is the first printing of the Thor by Walter Simonson. I love this book, and I'm glad it's back in print. It's one of the few times that Marvel has gone and recolored a collected edition. It's a huge book, especially the first printing. But I really like the recolor. I know some people had a problem with it. I don't see a problem with it. I think it's great. I think the art really pops out. The color really helps. So Thor Ragnarok borrowed some elements from here. Then we have the Heroes Return Thor. So I'm hoping that because of this, because of Iron Man, because of Captain America, that Marvel will release a Fantastic Four, because we have that first trade paperback. Thor by Straczynski. Ultimate Spider-Man, the death of Ultimate Spider-Man. Remember I told you guys that I had my Omnis over here, so here they are. Here's the Miles Morales, including the bad binding, so that's what it's notorious for. Nothing a little glue won't help, though. I need to get that fixed. Untold Tales of Spider-Man. I may or may not keep this. I don't know. I love the stories, but eventually you run out of room, right? And Marvel Event Omnibus. I love that they actually changed the spine of that. I think you guys may have seen my overview of it. And, you know, Young Avengers. The regular Young Avengers is just as long as that, and it's over there as an oversized hardcover. Then we have Darth Vader, Star Wars, and then the Star Wars Omnibus. Then some of my custom binds, I think I've showed this off before. This is Excalibur. I did it in 5 volumes. I designed the cover. This is, oh my God, I think of this like, I don't know, 9, 8 years ago. Maybe even 10 years ago. The Colossal Conans here. These books are fucking huge. I mean, look at the size compared to a standard Marvel Omnibus, right? These are the Marvel year stuff. These unfortunately are out of print. I don't see them coming back into print. They are starting to be available in Epic format from Marvel. And another reason why, oh, I'm sorry, this is another example of a regular cover that I got instead of the variant, the John Cassidy cover. Blah. And moving down here, we have Oz by, this is Scotty Young's Oz. Really like that. And that's been on clearance for a while. The 2 Stephen King books, the Dark Tower, and The Stand. Now, The Stand I found on Amazon. There was an Amazon glitch. It was $11, probably 5 years ago. So I got in on that for $11. And then, of course, Big Damn Sin City. Another book the size of the Colossal Conan. So we kick off this side over here with the only manga I'm going to show you guys. This is the 35th anniversary box set of Akira, including some McFarlane Akira figures. Unless you guys want to see more manga, maybe that's all the way over there, and I've got about 4 or 5 shelves worth of manga. But if you guys want to see that, leave those comments down below. Then we have Jodorowsky's The Incal, the limited edition oversized hardcover. And one of my prized possessions that I own, regardless of, you know, somebody else buying up the rights now, I think Boom now owns the rights to Usagi Yojimbo, is the Usagi Yojimbo Saga. This is volume 1. This is the hardest one to find. They're all numbered because for some reason Dark Horse decided to do only 900 copies of the first one, and I think all the other ones are, I want to say 1500 or 1200. So why in the world would they decide to make 1500 copies, right, of all the other volumes except volume 1, and then the 2-volume hardcover box set of the special edition from Fantagraphics. This is what starts off the story of Usagi, and then followed by this series here. I think we're going to get a volume 8 fairly soon. This right here I like to call the Dark Star pile, because this is one of our sponsors. We're going to start a segment where Amanda and I are reading some of these books together and reviewing them, so that's why I'm leaving them here. And just some comics that I have signed, some of my favorite books, like Crisis on Infinite Earths, signed by Mark Wolfman and George Perez and Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, one of my favorite issues of Uncanny X-Men. And then we have John Byrne and Chris Claremont and Mark Silvestri. And we'll move on to the other side. So here's Pogo, Volume 1. This is 49 through 50. There's a Volume 2, which I need to get that box set. Here we have the Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck collections by Carl Barks. This is in chronological order because they make it a pain in the ass to figure out which volume is what. Here's the complete Don Rosa. This is one of my prized possessions. I absolutely love this. I'm so glad that box set 1 is back in print, so you guys should buy that. I think it's available still through the Fantagraphics site. Love the life and times of Scrooge McDuck so much that I still kept my Boom Studio versions. Here's some more stuff released by IDW. This line has been discontinued. This is the Timeless Tales line, because now Fantagraphics is doing this right here, so the Disney Masters line. And unfortunately, some other books that have been discontinued or canceled, the Darkwing Duck books. Shout out to my boy Brooks for finding me this the week that my pup Nikita passed away. I had been missing this, and he found it for me. So thanks a lot, man. There's a lot of shout outs I'm going to give at the end. Oh, of course. I didn't talk. Oh man, Damn it! I didn't talk about Mr. Miracle either, and I didn't talk about Farscape. But here's Calvin and Hobbes. Anyway, I use those kind of as bookends, so my books don't fall over. Starting with some DC stuff, mix some Vertigo stuff in. My order's kind of weird. I mix Vertigo stuff if the characters actually fit in. I know I'm weird. Everybody organizes books their own way. So kicking off Animal Man, then we have Batman. These fucking gigantic Final Crisis Omnibus. God bless. This thing is over 1,500 pages long. But I love this story, and the binding is actually pretty decent on this. It holds nice. It's actually right next to another huge book, which is Doom Patrol. I think it might be bigger than the Invisibles. So then we have Flash, which is coming back into print, by the way, so buy them, because these are amazing. This is Flash by Jeff Johns, Green Lantern by Jeff Johns. Man, actually, this shelf is so good, because then we have Gotham Central, another one of my favorites. Grayson, solid book by Tim Seeley and Tom King, but Tim Seeley more. Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens, which was originally called Gotham City Sirens. There's one more volume of Harley Quinn coming out, and it's going to dip into some of the Rebirth stuff. Here is one of the earlier Omnis that came out. This is Hawkman by Jeff Johns, and if you can, I don't know if you guys can be able to tell, but the binding in this is not very good. You see how it lays out flat? Yeah, that's back when these things were just mouse traps. Here's my first printing of Infinite Crisis. Same problem as Hawkman. 52, Justice League, like I was complaining about. We're never going to get a volume 2 because of the whole controversy with that writer. Yeah, anyway, JSA by Jeff Johns, 1, 2, and 3. Now, I said that Crisis on Infinite Earths was my beginning of my DC, but this is one of the few exceptions because I've read this as a kid through a yard sale. I think my mom and dad found some. So I really like, come on. And it's kind of a standalone, Last Boy on Earth. New 52 villain. I love these lenticular covers. I don't know if you guys can see that move, but the entire cover is like that. I wish more Omnis would do tricks like that. But then, they would only print a limited run, and then I'd be a dumbass and have to buy the first printing. Here are 7 Soldiers. Death and Return of Superman. I did a video on it, whether I should pick up the new printing, the third printing, and I decided to keep my second printing because I'll show you guys here in a minute down there. I have a lot of custom bound Superman books, and this lines up perfectly with it. And Super Son's great book. So speaking of custom bound, here's some that I put together with my Teen Titans. Here is the Jeff Johns Teen Titans. I designed volume 2 right here, mapped it out. Actually, let me show you guys. So I did the table of contents, did design the art on the inside like this, and then the actual books show up here. Yeah, I was a big fan of custom bound books, but when I found those other books on eBay, I decided to spend my money there. Somebody else was working on it. I didn't have to. So there's Teen Titans, and then I went and did Young Justice. Actually, no, I bought these from Kirk. You might have seen my tour of his room, probably a video we did about 2 years ago. Then here's the rest of the Teen Titans, which I'll show you where the remaining stuff is. And then I did my own binding of Titans and Outsiders and Batman and the Outsiders. I remember I asked Kirk, because I know he did the designs of the first 2, but I did those. And I'm like, did you ever design Batman and the Outsiders? He was like, no, I didn't care about that series. So I'm one of the few people that actually did, apparently. So I designed my own. And it's here. And here we have Wonder Woman. I'll show you a couple custom bindings from there by George Perez, and then the Phil Jimenez run. And here's some Vertigo titles I decided to keep down here, because I don't know, I'm weird. Anyway, so here's Invincibles. This is one of those books that's huge. I think it might be bigger than Final Crisis. iZombie Planetary, one of my favorite war analysts. Probably I want to say man, it's so tough. Either first or second favorite. I absolutely love this book. This is Sleeper. This is by Ed Brubaker. Even though it shows like Wildstorm characters, it's such a good espionage undercover story. I love this book. He teams up with his buddy Sean Phillips, and they do a lot of work together. And let's see, more room down here. I still got room for Omnis, and we got American Vampire. Hopefully we'll get a volume 2 when that series finishes out. And He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Omnibus. Let's move on to the next shelf. All right, so here we have the Finding Nemo books. Or Finding Nemo, what the hell am I talking about? This is Little Nemo. This is kind of like a newer Little Nemo book. I showed off the other one before. This is the Windsor Decay, the original box set. Now they're releasing these. Actually, damn, I think this book is even bigger. Mother of God, it is. I don't know if that can do it justice, but let me grab an omnibus really quick and show you how big these damn things are. Yeah, they're pretty damn big. This is this tiny. He looks so tiny now compared to these books. So yeah, this book right here, Another Dream, I think it's just representation of new artists' take on Little Nemo. And then we have this. There's 2 hardcovers in here, and they're recently resolicited this as 2 separate hardcovers, so they don't come in this little suitcase. They are sold separately. Now let's look at these custom bound books. This is what I call the Kirk Kiefer collection. These are books I purchased from Kirk before he moved to Japan. This collects a lot of the Superman, Man of Steel stuff, actually everything leading up to the death of Superman. So that's why I sold off a lot of my trade paperbacks. So when people want me to do a reading order, I find it kind of hard, or a comprehensive reading order, because I don't have those trades anymore. And I don't want to be a complete douchebag and show off like custom bind Omni. So I will find a way to do it, because I found it very difficult to do a Superman reading order when I started reading these books. So yeah, all this collects from the Man of Steel, the relaunch after Crisis on Infinite Earths, all the way to the death of Superman. And we have The Last Joker, Joker the Last Laugh, sorry, and Wonder Woman. This is the William Messner Loeb's run with Mike Deodato Jr. on art, which I love these years. These are from the original comics, so they have the original ads. Yeah. And then some of my prized possessions on this shelf, the New Teen Titans. These are the original Omnis, but the rest of this is all custom bound. This collects the entire New Teen Titans all the way until Teen Titans. And then my buddy Kyle heard me bitch and moan about Nightfall so much that how they skipped out on the Sword of Azrael story in the legit Omnis, that he had these custom bound for me with Sword of Azrael. So I thought that was really cool, man. Alright, so down here is some of my European books and books just from other countries, or books I'll show you guys here in a minute. This is the Manara library. I absolutely love Manara. I know some people think he's a pervert, but his artwork is just freaking gorgeous. I can show you this stuff here because this doesn't have any of the sex or anything else that happens in all the other books, but it's just so gorgeous. Some of these are out of print, and unfortunately I don't think they're reprinting them in hardcover. They are reprinting them in softcover though, so if you're interested in them, you can get them this way in the hardcover edition. And I also put his other book here that he did with Jodorowsky, the Borgias. Let me show you something. There we go. We can look at that. I definitely cannot show you any of the erotica stuff, because I will probably get banned from YouTube. But there's only 3 volumes of that, and there were 6 of the original library. And here's Zenith by Grant Morrison and Steve Yule. There was a limited edition 1 hardcover box set, and this is one of my favorite books right here. I know this gets talked about. It was The War of Trenches and Goddamn This War by Tardy. It's one of my favorite war stories. I think it's just so real how all these events happened, and the way that it's portrayed in this graphic novel format is just wonderful. It's one of the best war stories or war comics that I own. Let's see here. Like I said, above here is some of my manga, but we'll talk about that if you guys want to see a manga collection later on. Here's some Black Sad. These are Spanish comics originally, but Dark Horse translated them. Hopefully we'll get a little more, because I think there was an animated movie coming out. Talked about this. Actually, you know what? No, let's look at this, because I don't think this gets enough love. Look at this freaking amazing artwork. Look at that. This is Black Sad. It's still available. They're all in print. There's originally this was 3 volumes in Spain, but Dark Horse published it as 1 volume here in America. So this is the first one, and then there was Black Sad, A Silent Hell. This one here, so this is like volume 4, but volume 2 in America. Same gorgeous artwork. Anthropomorphic animals. And then the extras in the back, and then this one here. This is Amarillo, which is yellow. Just some of the same gorgeous artwork. Oh man, I love this stuff. Private Detective. Yeah, I can't go on too much and not talk about Castles in the Stars. This is a French comic book translated in America. This only comes out, like I said, in my haul video once a year. Apparently, volume 4 is already out elsewhere in other countries, so good for you guys. Good for you guys. Moving on to other translated books. Snowpiercer made it into a movie. I know my buddy Jess, the Omni Dog, disagrees with me, but this is Beautiful Darkness. He hates this book. I think it's freaking weird and creepy, and I love the art. And I don't know. I dig it. It's about fairies living inside of the corpse of a dead little girl. It's a messed up, twisted book, but I think it's quite awesome. Let's see. I love this guy's artwork. This is Naha by Bengal. This is, who is the studio that makes this? I think it's Magnetic, yeah, Magnetic Press. I'm just showing you some of the artwork in here. Yeah, like I said, a lot of foreign comics are over here. That's where I usually keep them. Or comic books, I don't know, that I didn't find any room for. I don't know why the hell Zenith is over here. Yeah, I really like their artwork. Yeah, I love this look. Like, this artwork in here is gorgeous. No words. There are a few other books that he did, too. There's just beautiful artwork. And it's graphic novels, right? Station 16. It's kind of like a horror sci-fi story. I really liked it. I don't hear enough people talk about it either. Also a foreign book that was translated here into America. Got time travel elements thrown in. I don't hear people talk about this enough. Come on, we grew up with the Smurfs. This is the original Peyo Smurfs here from Paper Cuts. I don't know what the heck is going on with Volume 6. I don't know if it's still in hiatus, but this is the Smurfs anthology in hardcover. You know, just classic comic strips. Originally, the Smurfs showed up in the, what's the name, Johan and Pee-wee books. As little, I think, yeah, they reprinted their first appearance here. But yeah, these are all the stories from the Smurfs the cartoons are based on. God, I could do a whole show on just this because I love Peter Pan too. This is Loisel's Peter Pan. He did the storyboard for Mulan, and this is his wonderful rendition of Peter Pan. It's dark and twisted, graphic at times, but I absolutely love this book. This is the original printing. No, I'm sorry, this is the British version, and then I think it's been released in America. A book that was originally solicited but not released in America is Torpedo, 1936. This is a Spanish comic, and it's in Spanish. IDW owns the rights, and I think they released 6 little small hardcovers, and they were going to do an omnibus, but they decided against it. Once again, like a crime noir book. Let's see what else we got. Collector, Brigada. Oh, I love this book right here. This was translated by Magnetic Press. This is about little dwarves. I think this is a Spanish comic book, but they only released volume 1 and 2. Like, it was a Spanish comic book that was a Kickstarter in Spain. And only volumes 1 and 2 were released in America, collected in one edition, in this edition here. But I love this book. The Collector by Topi. I mean, man, there's so many books. There's Mobius. Okay, but I do have to talk about Mort Cinder. This is the guy that did the Eternaut, which is an Argentinian comic book. And I'll talk about that here in a second. It's just gorgeous artwork. A really good story. And yeah, so here's Mobius. We have the World of Edna, Inside Mobius, part 2 and 3. Shit, I'm missing part 1. This is why I do these videos, so I know what to buy later on. So we have, let's see, we have Jeff Smith's Bone. This is a softcover edition. I'm still looking for a hardcover, but I don't know which version to get. One of my favorite books is Stuff of Legend. This is the Omnibus. You want to get Omnibus Volume 1. You want to get this version because this has a little more in it than the first printing. I love the way that it's drawn. About a little boy. that gets sucked into the boogeyman's world. So his toys have to go and rescue him. And when his toys go into this other world, they take, like, that's his teddy bear, that's his little Jack in the Box, the ballerina. So they take, these different bodies. Oh, it's so good. And it's on hiatus, but I think it's coming back. There's only 2 volumes released so far, the hardcovers. Doom Boy, another book that doesn't get talked about. Mouse Guard, come on. Little mice with swords. Who doesn't love this stuff? Look at this beautiful artwork. So I hope he finishes out this, because both this and Stuff of Legend are in hiatus. Black Hole by Charles Byrne. I know that book gets... here's The Lighthouse. I know it gets talked about a lot, but I wasn't a big fan of it. This is The Lighthouse book by Paco Roca. I actually enjoyed this more than Wrinkles. It's about a guy during, I believe, the Spanish-American War. Spanish Civil War, I'm sorry. Finds a lighthouse, and he finds a friend at the lighthouse. I'm not going to tell you much because you should read it. It's really cheap. It's only like 15 bucks. And, of course, the Eternaut. Now, this is back in print, so everybody should go out and buy it. It's an amazing story. I can't reveal what it's about, but I mean, just look at this gorgeous slipcase. It's from Argentina, same guy that did the Mort Cinder book. And let's look at the European books over here. So a lot of these, of course, actually, this is my Humanoid shelf, and it's run out of room. So this is the original way that I've gotten a lot of Mobius artwork. Of course, Mobius. How can I not talk about the Incal? So I just got that limited edition, so I'll probably give this to one of the ladies for old reader, new reader, and we may do that. Bouncer, Son of the Gun. I think Jess and I are going to do a video on his channel about European books or humanoid books. So yeah, before Incal, Final Incal, Metabarons, which is kind of in the same world. The weapons, like, this is a... Yeah, Travis Chair is drawing inside of this book. It's crazy. He's an American artist. Did a lot of old Jim Lee stuff here, actually. Let's look at his art, because I think it's towards the beginning. He did a lot of Jim Lee artwork. Let's see, 11. There we go. This is Travis Charis now. This got me just gorgeous. Did a lot of stuff for Wildstorm. Kind of had a Jim Lee look to his art, and now he's just evolved into a different kind of beast. Techno Priest. Megalex, a lot of Jodorowsky stuff, Carthago Adventures, and then these oversized books right here. Oh, here's another, I forgot about this book. This is The Quest for the Time Bird. This is another Loisel book. Well, he did the art, I'm sorry. Somebody else did the writing. Just gorgeous fantasy books, which I love finding. So if you guys have, if y'all don't see something on the shelf that I should own, let me know in the comments down below. And... here's a set of books I'd never hear anybody talk about. This is called Flight. They came out from, I want to say, who was the publisher on this? Villard Publishing. So pretty much each volume is a collection, it's an anthology of like 10 to 15 different writers and artists. Have a little short story in here. There's not really any continuing stories. And they showcase anything that has to do with flight. Sometimes it has nothing to do with it. It's just this writer and an artist telling their story. You know, art varies from amazing to independent to paintings and just, I don't know. It's gorgeous. I love this stuff. There's some breakout artists from this that went on to do animation. And actually most of the people that came from there did animation. I think I talked about Amanda buying me that. Michael Moorcox Elric, I hope I'm saying that guy's name right. Here's that Salambo book that I showed off in my last haul. Just once again, I just need to show off the artwork. This is, like I said, I'm a big guy with, when it comes to art. I love it. Probably shouldn't look at that. Boobs. But just look at the amount of detail in that. Let's see what else we got down here, because I'm about done. Oh, this is a Spanish book I picked up when I was in Spain. This is Elfos, Volume 1. I'll probably need to order Volume 2 because this is all in Spanish. It's very popular in Spain last summer, so I may need to go to Amazon Spain or have my buddy Simon send it to me. Shaolin Cowboy. The Controversial Lost Girls. I didn't get the 3 hardcover set. I just got the... Hold on, let me find a page I can show you. It's got this weird art. It's Alan Moore. It's creepy. Underage things happening. That's why it's controversial. And, of course, Liberty Meadows by my boy Frank Cho. There's only 4 of these. I don't own the hardcovers, but it's just these. little comic strip collections. I've always been a big fan of his artwork, so thank you very much for watching. If I left a book out that you wanted to see, I'm so sorry, because this thing would have gone on for hours and hours, because I like to talk about these things. If there is a book that you want me to check out, please leave that in the comments down below that you didn't see here. And please don't forget to check out our social media at NearMintCon. And also, here's where I'm going to do a shout out to all the people that have helped me just build this library. Some hard to find books, like my buddy Jess, Gabe, my big shout out to Kyle. He sent me so much stuff, man. Darkstar, Thomas, Jimmy, Josh. I'm gonna forget so many names, but over the last, just since I started this channel, people have shown me so much love by just sending me books, or, you know, finding books for me when they see like I'm missing a volume 1 and it's impossible to find. So thank you all. I'm sure I'm forgetting names, damn it, and I'm so sorry. Thomas, shit. Anyway, so yeah, join us every Thursday for our panels. This is taking place in one of those episodes. Sorry guys, but this is something that people have been wanting me to do an updated tour of. So I think I'll probably do another one next year, maybe at another house, maybe at another location. So who knows where I'll be. If you want to see a manga tour, please let me know in the comments down below. I also have art books too, if you guys want to see that. Keep the comprehensive reading order going, but that's going up on Patreon right now for them to do the poll. So yes, if you enjoy our content, please think about supporting us through Patreon. Again, this was Omar. Thank you for watching. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. An updated book tour of my... Let's do that again. Welcome back, Minties. Omar here from Near Mint. The name of our channel. God damn it. Welcome back.